All right, Reef Keepers. So I have done it. I have estimated the cost for all of this. And it was no small exercise, and it's flawed, I have to tell you. And I think that for most of us, it would be a flawed exercise because the cost of things is constantly changing, which means going up. Um, so like a lot of these prices are like the prices I remember paying. Also, there's such a journey associated for most people with like getting to the point where they have like a major system with bells and whistles on it, that there are parts of that journey where like you get pieces of equipment that like don't work out, or they're too small and you have to upgrade. Just little things that break, things that whatever, that you can't possibly remember all of it. I mean, it's 6 years of reef keeping it took me on this journey to get to all of this, right? Which is like a system I'm happy with. Where like, if a piece of equipment broke, like if that skimmer broke tomorrow, I'd just buy another one because I know it works, I know how it works, I like it. I feel like I'm in a good place now, a confident place with my setup, with my gear, with how everything works, with what I know. I'm learning every day, but like I feel stable now. It takes a long time to get there, and you don't remember everything, so bear with me. I filmed this once, and it was like 25 minutes long, so I'm going to try to shorten this up. So first, tank and stand. All right, tank and stand. $2,600, right? It's a Waterbox Marine X 4820. So tank and stand, I put $2,600. Radions, my primary lights, okay? These three Radions in the middle, the XR15s. They're G6 Pros, $500 a pop. And I forget how much the diffusers were on them, but it's, probably like $550 with those included, if not more. So then you have to factor in like, the light mount for the Radions. So the primary mount there is, that was $250 worth of components. And then to grow SBS coral better, I needed a couple of Quanta Pro bars. So those were $280. All right. You see how like, as you grow in reefing, you're just adding stuff to be able to do the things that you want to do. Like I got into SPS, and now it's like, oh, I need more light than this, more intensity. So, let's take a look down in the sump. Skimmer, $200, like I mentioned earlier. It's just a Bubble Magus Curve 5. Works great. Absolutely love it. But again, like I got a backup pump for it because my pump started having problems. So I cleaned out that pump and made it work properly, but I have a backup pump now. So like I didn't include that. This is another instance where like you're not including things that you own that are out in your garage waiting for use. Return pump, you can't see it, it's back in here, but it is a Neptune Core 15. That was $330 on sale when I bought it, I think. Maybe I got it for like $295 or something because it was on sale. It might retail at $330, but anyway, I'm just gonna leave it. So trust me, it'll shake out in the end. $100 backup return pump. It's just it's connected to this line right here. That's a what do they call it? Jabao. Neptune Trident. When I bought it, that was $600. I think they're now with tax probably like $700. So that just shows you the growth over the years of how much these things cost. I haven't even had that 5 years. So yeah, everything's up. Backup battery. I got it brand new. Got some various cordage and accessories for it. Got a solar panel for it that I did not include in this cost. So there's another thing, like things you haven't installed yet that are just waiting in the wings. That's not included here. So not including the solar panel to trickle charge at $250 I put on this. Let's see, the Neptune Apex with its EB832 power bars and all of these modules. I put on all that, just a rough estimate, $1,600. All right, not cheap. Got a ton of Apex accessories. I got more modules back behind there. I got modules I'm not using that are out in the garage. So I just kind of put a lump sum on the Apex system, okay? And then I actually broke out the dose units that I have. Now, again, let me mention, like you see these dose units in here, 1, 2, 3 Neptune dose units. And then I also included in the doser category this and this, right? All dosing various things to the system. All those dosers come out to $1,250, okay? And I want to mention, I know you guys know, but like, you know, I used to make more money than I do now. So a lot of this was accumulated when I was really cash flush. And I just want to stress that this is a bells and whistles system, okay? I don't have all the bells and whistles, but I got a lot of bells and whistles because I was a high income earner. All this is not necessary, okay? But this is fairly close to like a dream setup for me. And so, and you know, it's as close to the dream as I'm going to get for at least for a long time, for the foreseeable forever. So like, understand there's a lot of cost associated here that is never going to apply to a lot of reef keepers because you don't need all this kind of stuff. All right. I just want to emphasize that. This cabinet right here, I put 120 on there. I actually had to go back on Amazon and look at it. So I think that's a current price. Wave makers. Okay. Nero 7 over here. I got Nero 5s over here, an emergency pump. I've got or an emergency wave maker. I've got a couple of cheap wave makers keeping the flow moving in the sump. On wave makers, I put $1,100. So probably close-ish, right? Sorry, I'm just looking at my list. Auto feeders, Neptune auto feeders, super loud. They feel super cheap, but you can control them really good. $220. Again, unnecessary, but here I am, you know. This Nios reactor right here, I really love it. I have a review video on that one. I actually got that on like a buy the base, get the container of your choice for free deal, which is amazing. It was like a 1-day deal. I got that for $100. I think regular it'd be about 200. I put miscellaneous tubes and lines, so just whatever. Tubes, lines, anything that's carrying, you know, solutions or salt water or whatever. I put for that $100, and then let's see here, cord management, just clips and zip ties and Velcro and all that kind of stuff, just to keep cords reasonable. I put cord management at $50. Biological media, this big media block here, media plate there. I put biological media at $75. Mechanical filtration, my 2 Rocky Mountain fish filter cartridges right here, $220. Heating, got a Helio heating system, really good, titanium heaters. I got a backup heating system in there. I got an Inkbird to, you know, for redundancy. I put the heating cost at $250. And then right after that, I did a quick accounting of my little fans that I have. I have 2 fans here, 2 fans here. I got fans back in there to kind of keep the electronic heat kind of sucked out of there. $50. Those are not expensive. Sorry, the auto feeder's going off. Now you guys understand why for $220 these things should not be. Listen to that. Unbelievable. Come on, Neptune. By the way, come on me. I shouldn't have spent money like that on those. Obviously, you can hear the guilt in my voice. Because the total's brutal. So, extension cords and GFCI, $120. I'll just go through a couple of these. Smart power accessories like power strips that you can't see that are back behind there. Put another $120 on those. All controllable, which I like. DIY calc reactor. Right here. The DIY calc reactor, $225, which is about half the price that you'd spend on like a really nice brand name calc reactor. So I'm fairly happy with that. That's a bright spot, right? $80 dosing containers. Any kind of dosing container I put on here, I just put $80 on it. Probably pretty close. Let's see. Oh, tank lid. Something that everybody kind of forgets about. And then when they go to get one, because the fish are jumping, your jaw drops. So that's a clear view, classic lid with some customization for cord pass through. And I put $350 on that. Not cheap, right? Plumbing accessories, mainly to install that return, that backup return pump back in here. Like the tank comes with plumbing accessories with the kit, but I had to do my own thing to get an emergency pump installed on there. That I've got at 150 bucks. I got premium components for that. UV sterilizer, the whole setup with the CJ pump and everything. I put 350 on that. Those are not cheap. Reefing tools, commonly used tools here, some more in the garage. 150 bucks, okay? Sand, 45 bucks. Live rock, $300. I probably used $250 worth of it, but it was premium Marco shelf rock. I wanted the scape to look how I wanted it. And $75 of probe and tube holders, like these little magnetic things in here. So I've gotten some I've gotten some custom ones made too. Shoes squeaking. So, as you can see, not cheap at all. Also, half of this is not necessary to have a successful reef tank. I have to make that clear here. It is so unnecessary for so many people, right? Unless you have just mass amounts of disposable income, which like awesome if you do, go for it. Or you have like, a job where you're traveling a ton and you're like, I gotta have something like a crazy Neptune system or hydro system or GHL or something to run all this while I'm away. Unless you have these like specific circumstances, I mean, it's just half of this is unjustifiable. I look at myself now and I just hang my head. I'm like, this is so crazy. So as it stands, that total of all those prices I just gave you falls between $13,000 and $14,000. Okay. I was hoping it would be under 10 grand. That was a pipe dream. I knew in my heart of hearts it was going to be over, but I was like, please, 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 like brutal. And I would say if you add in stuff I didn't consider, like that solar panel or like pumps that I bought that were not big enough or like just whatever, right? Like stuff that I'm not using right now or it's, I want to rotate it on and try it. And just when you get this deep into the hobby, there's all these little loose ends. If you add in the loose ends, I guarantee you we're clocking in at like 15 grand. If you add in inflation for half this stuff that all I could remember was the price I bought it for, I bet you it's like 17 grand. And then if you add in the journey, so like starting with my Fluval Evo, like everything it took for me to upgrade to a larger tank from that and then into this tank and get all the gear and like learn along the way and figure all this out, I reuse as much as I could every time because it's so expensive. But I bet you it eclipses 20 grand. I bet you it does. I bet you we're topping 20 grand for the whole journey over 6 years to get to this point. And when I think about that, I'm like, 20 grand. For 20 grand, I sure as heck would have hoped that I would have had a tank that was just overflowing with like, big, luscious colonies of coral and, big nests of SPS that I'm chopping back every week so they don't kill each other. But here I am. Now, granted, there was a horrible move that I had to do across the country in the middle of it. There's not a whole lot you can do when you move and it's a whole complicated process and you're kind of hitting the reset button. But still, like after 6 years and 20 grand, I'm not some brilliant dude. I'm just some guy. After 6 years and 20 grand, I'm finally at a point where I'm like, okay, I've got SPS slowly growing. I have LPS thriving. I have all my fish and inverts on lock. I know how they work, what they need. I'm starting to figure out a little bit more about bacteria. I'm starting to figure out how to manage, nitrate and phosphate very effectively. I've got that dialed in really good. I've got dosing dialed in really good. But like, I feel like I'm just after all that expense and all those years of obsessing over this hobby, having it be this huge cornerstone of my life, I only now feel like I'm about to step off and like really take off with certain aspects of it. That's how long it took. So basically my message is, and I'll have more videos on this. I plan to do an accounting of how much my 25-gallon tank in the other room costs with all budget gear so that people can compare. and contrast with how much this costs. So look for that video because it's coming in the next few days. I just very much feel like no one should be under any illusion. If you want like bells and whistles and like a quote unquote dream tank and you want to really outfit everything and do it the way you want to do it, you are going to spend untold thousands on this hobby. And nobody should be maxing out like credit card after credit card to do this. Like, no way. Like, you know, I was lucky. I had a lot of income before I switched careers. And I just feel like there's no way like that anyone should just be like, yeah, you know, I mean, 20 grand, guys, is a huge part of my income in a year. Gargantuan. And there's absolutely no way I would just like max a credit card or max multiple credit cards to just start here with all this. No way. And it's like literally like every BRS link is like, oh yeah, you want to finance this with a firm? Like, oh my God. Like, I don't know. You can probably hear in my voice, I'm like half panicked, half like astounded at the cost of this. I mean, it is tremendous, guys. So like my advice would be this. All right, I'll leave you with this. Start small. If you're a new reef keeper, start out with a Fluval Evo or a 25 gallon or a 40 gallon or a 50 gallon. But before you get much bigger than that, if you just have a regular person with a regular job and a normal income, which most of us are, like, this is my warning as like, you know, what you down the line, talking back to you, start there and just slowly learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and learn, and maybe upgrade once in between your dream tank and the first tank that you have, and just like let yourself marinate and saturate in the hobby so that you really understand what it all is that you need when you go into a larger tank, like a 4 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot plus tank. If your dream is to end up at that level, like I know that this falls on deaf ears so much. Please take it slow. Accumulate gear slow. Really research your gear. Understand what you're buying. Understand what you want to do long term. Don't just buy stuff and throw it and hope it sticks. You know, really figure out, have a plan. Like, have a real plan. Because it costs too much money. It's so much money. As passionate as I am about this, like, the thought of like snapping my fingers and like all this comes together right now in 2024 and it's like potentially 20 grand. I mean, I don't know. But that's wild. So yeah, I'm humbled by this for sure. I don't know. That's crazy, guys. So 15 to 20 grand for this is what I would say. 15 to 20 grand. Now, 2024 dollars. That is astounding. This hobby is so expensive. You'll get more thoughts on this from me in the days to come. I'm going to start earnestly doing like a fiscal review of the tanks that I have and try to put some of this in perspective for people because I feel like they need to know. Like, I already did the ongoing costs. And then on top of it, it's not to mention you have ongoing costs of like, you know, $2,000 to $3,000 a year to keep a system like this going. Guys, this, I feel like it has to be done. I'm going to fiscally review like as many aspects as I can to shed light on this for people so they understand before they fall all over themselves trying to access this hobby and do this hobby the right way, whatever they interpret it as being the right way. I don't know. I'm stunned. So, all right. I'm eager to hear your comments. All right, guys.